Hello, UAE Grow Your Finances community.
Where we discuss how to make your money work for you as opposed to the other way around, and how best to grow your finances within the UAE. Here, we like to flip challenges around and create ideas, opportunities, and possibilities so that we can all succeed together, because there are enough seats for everyone at this table. Disclaimer, we are not financial advisors and we do not offer any type of financial advice. We only hold discussions around the topic from personal experience and invite guests to provide information and context around ventures we are personally involved in or interested in. All I can tell you guys is that today you are in for a treat. This episode is so motivational and inspirational, and we will be speaking to somebody who I deeply admire, Samira Alexander, who is a Marissa Peer trained, yes, you heard that right, Marissa Peer, the one and only, trained RTT, Rapid Transformational Therapist, and I have actually worked personally with Samira. So I've discussed this before on the podcast. I used to have a severe, debilitating chronic illness, and for years I was actually confined to a bed, and nobody could heal me. No doctors, no treatment facilities, the best in the world, no groundbreaking, revolutionary, advanced treatments. I saw the best of the best. Healers from all modalities, healing practices from all over the world. At the end of the day, it had to come from within me, and I used the guidance of very wise teachers on this earth to build up those skills and tools in order to heal myself. And that is exactly what I did. And one of those people was Samira. So when I say that she knows her stuff, she knows what she's talking about, and to really listen closely to her guidance, I'm speaking from personal experience. I had my own transformation. We'll get into that in this episode too. So I've seen it firsthand. I know that what she does is real. I know that what she says is true. And I have actually always shared the same beliefs. And I guess it's one of those things that you have to just learn through experience. But my advice to you guys would be to just try it. Try and see if what she has to say today works for you when you apply it to your own life.
Yeah, I'm super excited as well. I cannot wait because it takes growing finances and lifestyle to another level. I think we haven't really crossed this path yet before in our group and definitely in our podcast. And we definitely will be crossing it again in the future as well, because Samira is amazing and I'm personally going to have a session with her very soon. So I'm really excited about that. And I do think that she can change lives, because she does on a daily basis. And we'll obviously get into some really cool success stories from her as well.
I also want to say that she doesn't just talk the talk, she walks the walk herself. So she's also a successful businesswoman, and she did that all herself too, just like I did with my chronic illness. Is a different situation, but it's the very same thing actually, is that she became successful in business herself, and she started from absolutely nothing. And she's also won the award for Best Hypnotherapist in Dubai 4 times in a row now. So she will tell her story. She didn't start from absolutely nothing, but she went through job loss and she built her business from the ground up.
Should we say empire?
She built her empire
She is
from the ground up.
Very savvy business person, which is great to have that aspect to what she does as well. And she started to build something really cool for the financial community. So we're looking forward to getting more into it today.
But before we get into all of the inspiration and motivation, we're going to take the time to bring up a discussion topic that offers some balance to the mix. So Russ, are you ready to make finance fun?
Absolutely.
In 3, 2, 1.
Fun.
So like I said, today's discussion topic is adding a little bit of balance to this motivation, inspiration, do, go, go, go. The topic today is productivity versus rest and being conscious of pushing the message of go, go, go in today's society. Because in today's society, we praise overworking yourself, and we see, generally speaking, we view taking rest as lazy. And we have this belief that in order to build an empire, for example, you have to basically kill yourself working. Get rich or die trying. You have to overexert yourself. You have to push. You have to always be on the go. You have to always have that sympathetic energy, that adrenaline. But I'm here to tell you that rest is just as important, and it's something that's overlooked, but it's when we rest that we rejuvenate, restore, revitalize, and most importantly, regulate so that we can get inspired, because it's when we're regulated that creativity comes about, and that's where our ideas pop up and our inspiration pops up. So we need to go into a little bit of a hibernation every now and then, actually regularly, and recharge, re-inspire, recreate, and then go out there and get it. What do you think, Russ?
I mean, for someone that has been in the hotel industry for 13 to 14 years, before recently leaving it around a year ago, I can from experience say once you're in the grind of work, no one's point of view matters. Whether anyone tells you that what you're doing is killing yourself, you're not doing a good job for your own personal health, this, that, all you tell yourself constantly is it's the only way. It's the only way that I can succeed. It's the only way that I can get to where I want to be.
Interesting.
Because you are too stuck in it to see the outside. For someone that has recently, 1 year ago, came out the hotel industry, I'm still in the food and beverage sector, I will single-handedly tell you that is complete brainwashing. Because being out of the hotel industry, I do not work those 15, 16 hours a day, 5 days, sometimes 6 days a week anymore. And I can really tell you that it's improved my life to another level. I'm not talking now my productivity at work. My productivity at work is the same and probably even better now because I'm a little more rested and I'm not killing myself, and my company is getting a strong, rested individual, motivated, driven, ready to take on the next task, the next project, ready to take the company to the next level because I have that motivation and the drive. Because when you're working 15 to 16 hours a day and you don't care about anyone's opinion on the situation, you're stuck. You're stuck inside a hull. It's black. It's dark. You can't see. There's no lights on. And the drive is not there. You're exhausted. And even when your wife says to you, listen, you need to start caring about yourself and you need to start worrying about your family, listen to them. It's hard, but you need to listen to the people around you because they're telling you the truth. You need to give yourself that rest in order to be the best person you can be.
I think this is also why some countries are moving towards a 4-day work week, because they've done studies and they found that it was actually very productive, sometimes in some cases more productive than a 5-day work week. I'm not recommending it. I'm not suggesting it. I'm just saying that it's an interesting concept and it's definitely got some valid points there, because if we look on even just a personal level, as an individual, even if you're not working for somebody and you're building your own business, if you're taking those breaks and taking those rests, very often that's when the greatest inspiration comes to you. Have you ever been in bed and you're like falling asleep, and all of a sudden you get this fantastic idea. This is actually probably not a good question for Ross because he falls asleep literally in 1 second. I'm not even joking. Like his head is down and he's out.
Yeah, that's hard for me, to be honest.
But has that ever happened
Yes,
to you?
it has. It has. And not only when I'm in bed, I would say when I'm doing very little and nothing sometimes.
Like in the shower?
Correct. Then definitely it's your best time for your brain to think.
Yeah, because also you're resting, you're regulated, you're in a relaxed state, and that scientifically allows for other parts of your brain to open up, like the creative part of your brain and the frontal cortex. When you are in survival mode, your frontal cortex isn't working properly, and basically what that means is this is your decision making, your reasoning side of your brain. So we want to come down. We want to be able to, it's all about up and down, and up and down is all about balance. Like the waves in the ocean, they go back and they come forward, and they swell and they settle. So that is how we're designed. And if we want to live in harmony with the energy of money and fit into the natural order of things in this world that's working together, essentially, you know, we're contributing, we're taking. And so it's like a little dance that we're all doing together. And if we want to be a part of that pulse and move in the rhythm that best serves us and benefits us for flow and abundance, we have to also remember to rest, to go up and down.
Absolutely.
So that's something that I wanted to bring in today, because today's episode is going to be very motivational. And for us, it put us into like work mode. We were like, yeah, let's go get it. Let's go do it. And we were so motivated. And you know what happened? Ross got sick after that. Isn't that
That's
interesting?
so true. I didn't think about that until now. I got sick after that, yeah, because I was in my mindset of now I can go take on the world, you know, and my body was like, hey.
The body says no. For those who don't know, there's actually a book, When the Body Says No, Gabor Mate. I know I'm butchering his name. All these names of authors I'm not very good at saying, but he has a book called When the Body Says No. And his wife told him that he should have written a book called When the Wife Says No, because it's very often that our wives or our spouses see things in us and tell us and alert us to it, and we just continue to do what we know. But this is something to really consider, is that rest and motivation, it's intertwined. In order to be motivated and inspired in a healthy, most productive, beneficial way, you also need to make sure to give to yourself some rest and rejuvenation and recuperation and all that good stuff.
So let's get on to the episode on that note.
Here is Samira, the one and only Samira Alexander.
Welcome, Samira. So great to have you here. So please tell us a bit about yourself.
Thank you, Ross. Thank you very much. It's lovely to be here. It's lovely to meet you guys again. It's been a while, and it's so good to know that you're moved to Dubai, so not just down the road from me. So tell me more about myself. So who am I? So I'm a Brit, a British Pakistani, Samira Alexander, who's been living in Dubai or the UAE for about 15 years. And I have had many roles in my life. Right now, I'm a transformational coach, hypnotherapist, and I work with people in their life and corporate world. I work with a lot of high achievers and kids and housewives as well who are overcoming anxiety, depression, low self-esteem, all sorts of things. But I work with a lot of entrepreneurs and business owners and corporate people who want to make sure they have a great money mindset and who want to be successful in business. And so I'm also a business strategist and mindset coach for entrepreneurs.
Fantastic. So this is a really exciting episode because this takes us more to, I would say, the spiritual side, the mindset. And this is what all of our group members have been seeing from our side. We always are preaching on the group that financial confidence is so important. And we need to make sure that our mindset is right in order to bring in those dollars into our bank account. So it's great to have Samira here. It's going to be a fantastic conversation. And we have a lot lined up. So
I would say this is an important part of making money that is left out all too often. So
That's
we're really keen to bring it in because it's incredibly important.
You'll be surprised how important it is.
Yes.
absolutely.
Yes, and you've seen that firsthand.
Absolutely, yes.
There's enough money going around for everyone to be
Oh,
successful.
absolutely, there's enough. And
Yes.
then some, but people think with a scarcity mindset, which we're going to go into more detail.
Yeah. So Samira is a businesswoman herself. So she's speaking from experience. Tell us a little bit about yourself in business.
I was born and brought up in the UK in London, and my parents, Pakistani parents who were immigrants who moved to the UK. My father was a civil engineer. So obviously I went to school and normal childhood. However, I always, ever since from a very young age, felt very entrepreneurial. And now looking back, I'd always be finding ways to make money. It's not as if that we were hard up on money. We were, we were tight on money, but I don't know why, but I just felt like just kept coming up with ideas, and it was just something that I would do. And I think my first entrepreneurial journey was when I was 7 years old. I had an idea where a house was just set up further back from the main road, and so you'd have to drive into the house, and then the drive was right in the center, and there's public pavement on either side of the road. And I thought, wouldn't it be great to actually charge people to go from one pavement to the other and charge them because they had to go across our drive? And then I decided to send my brother out with a mug and my best friend out to charge them 1 pence. I thought that was a great idea at the time.
That's brilliant.
How old were you at that time?
7.
7, yeah.
My brother was
Wow.
about 6.5,
Okay.
6. No, yeah, I was 7. So he must have been just under, he was around 6. We were a year apart. And then my best friend was probably about 7 as well.
So your journey started before most people's journeys, I can imagine.
Absolutely. I didn't even realize. I look back now, I think, wow, that was a real, I mean, I didn't even know where that idea came from, but it did. And I really actually implemented that, and they did it. We got 1 pence. And then the second time, I think my brother charged someone. She wasn't very happy. And I could see her with my brother screaming his eyes out, and with her dragging him up the road, up to the drive to the front house. And I thought, oh my God, I'm in trouble. So that venture didn't just continue very well, but it was a great idea. And I just thought, wow. And then after that, I have always been entrepreneurial. However, I grew up we were always told, because I grew up in the 70s, to have a good job, have a job. And for me, I thought that being an economist would be a good way. I think I did careers advice. That was what I was told. So I got 2 degrees in economics and become an economist. And that was great. But I felt that, my father had died, and suddenly, because of a business. So that's where also I'm very careful of business as well, because my father was a civil engineer. He used to work in Nigeria, and my mother was very entrepreneurial. She was the one who actually dragged us to the top hotels to try and purchase them, believe it or not, when I didn't even think that we had much to do, but she was really driven. However, we never bought the big hotels, but we ended up buying a bed and breakfast hotel when my father was away in Nigeria in the early 80s. So when he came back, my mother had bought this bed and breakfast hotel in West Kensington to run. However, in the late 80s, like early 1990s, there's a time, if you look back at history, is when interest rates went up by 500 basis points in one day.
Crazy.
Do you remember that? I don't know if you know that, but we actually decided to be part of the ERM, where the German bank decided to increase rates in one day, and their home ownership wasn't affected by that. But because we have a high home ownership in the UK, that had a major, major impact. It slipped us into a deep recession. 1991, 92, I think it was, And anyway, that led to any business owners who had payments reach sky high, which is roughly happening right now at the moment in the UK, right? Because interest rates are going up.
Correct, yeah.
But not as fast as they were at that time. And that led to my father obviously getting stressed out financially. And unfortunately, because of all the stress of that, he had a major heart attack.
Oh, no.
And subsequently, 3 months later, he passed away.
How old was he?
He was 58.
Oh,
That's why
Okay.
it's so important to take care of yourself. You know, it
I
doesn't
swear to
matter.
you.
I mean, money doesn't matter at the end of the
No.
day when this
Yeah.
stuff happens, you
And
know.
then the curveball on top of that was the insurance payment lapsed by 2 months. So when we tried to claim insurance, his life policy, we didn't get the money.
Oh, no.
So that was a major thing for us. And that's really when I started again thinking about, I mean, I'd got a job as an economist for a consultancy. By that time, I was 25. And obviously, we had this hotel. And I learned a lot very fast that we had to sell this hotel. We tried to find ways to make it work. We didn't get the support that we wanted to. People would try to say, oh, of course, we would want to help you. And then they would try and, shaft us,
Yeah.
pardon expression. And then even
That's
when we did
terrible.
find someone, obviously in a grapevine, people thought it was a distressed sale. And so on the day of selling the property, the person decided to drop the price by $20,000.
Which is a lot more.
A lot more then.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And so I was sitting there thinking, do I sell this or not? In the end, I think we decided to sell, but obviously I remember that very well. And sometimes we think, well, that was a very painful point in our life, and should we have sold or not? But, hindsight's a beautiful thing. However, from that point onwards, I know that I wasn't going to be shafted again like that.
Correct.
Lesson learned.
I mean, this is how these type of stories start for so many people, you know, getting screwed over and
Oh, yeah.
then making sure that you learn from it and never happening again.
I know. And the thing is that from that point on, obviously, I got discouraged by the whole idea of being an entrepreneur, even though that's within my DNA. Okay.
Mhm.
Or kind of took some time out. So I took about 4 years out from that. And then I was reading the paper one evening about the buy-to-let market. There's this new concept called the buy-to-let market. It's in the UK, and woman had bought a house or an apartment in Shepherd's Bush. I don't know if you know Shepherd's Bush, versus like relatively next door to Notting Hill, relatively.
It's very British.
Yes. Anyway, she bought a 2-bedroom apartment, and then she put some money down, and then she rented it out. And then basically the difference between the mortgage payment and the rent was going to be the profit or some income that she could get. And they were talking about this new concept. And I thought, well, this sounds really interesting. Given I'm an economist, now I've got 2 degrees in economics, and there's demand and supply, and they're talking about property, and we have some money now, and I want to create a pension for my mother. So I just got a map of London, and I said, okay, where do we invest? I had no clue. I had no idea what to do. But I started researching, and then I started going to these places, speaking to agents and talking to them and getting more and more feedback. And then I started thinking, okay, we're going to invest in this place, we're going to invest in this place. And we started investing. And over the last, for over 10 years, I started buying a property for the first 3 properties, probably in the first year or so. And then after that was the property every year. And somebody started telling me, you buy property like somebody buys shoes. And I thought that's quite good for me. I don't mind about that.
That's great.
So, and then what happened with that is that I started telling people, I said, you should be investing here, you should be investing there. And you see, because these are friends who didn't really understand what I was doing, because I kept myself to myself, and they'd say, well, how come you're talking about property? You're an economist, but you're working as a economic forecaster. Why are you talking about real estate? I said, well, I've been investing in real estate, and I think I've done research, and you should be investing here and investing here. And nobody took me seriously. This happens to me all the time, every time I transition into a new career. And but then they change their mind. So I used to tell them, and they wouldn't listen to me. And then eventually those particular areas, those property hotspots, actually start coming into the papers saying this is a property hotspot for this week, this is a property hotspot for next week. And then these people would be coming back saying, Samira, you said to me that I should be investing in East Dulwich or whatever. And now I just saw in the paper, they said it's a property hotspot. And I said, yes, I know. I told you should be investing like 6 months ago, but you didn't listen to me.
Where should we be investing in Dubai? Is what we want to know.
To be honest, I haven't been looking at the Dubai market for a
Okay.
while. So I will be now looking at that. I am very interested. I can see that. I took some time out from investing, but that was in the UK. So then people started listening to me, and then I started giving them advice. And some of my friends did buy property, and they still got those properties, which I'm happy for them. And then I thought, wouldn't it be great if I combine my economic background with real estate? And I thought, I wonder if there are positions available. Lo and behold, I came across a recruitment agent who actually found people who specialize in the real estate industry, and they were looking for someone like myself. So I ended up working for a company called DTZ. That's called Cushman & Wakefield now. And I had the opportunity to start working as an economist and real estate forecaster. So I ended up working with them for 4 years as a senior real estate forecaster. And I used to forecast residential, commercial, rents, and property prices.
In London?
Not just UK. I used to cover Asia Pacific and US markets in Europe.
Oh, wow.
So it grew from that. So that's what I started doing. And I did that for 4 years. And then obviously I had the bug and I wanted to work abroad and live abroad. And one of my dreams was to work for AXA Investment Management. And I offered a job to work in Spain as a fund manager. That was my dream job. However, I just knew the market was going to crash with the subprime market in the US, and the UK was going to be affected in Europe. And so it wasn't going to be wise. So it was better to move more to the Middle East and to Asia Pacific. And then I was headhunted for a job to work for Aldar in Abu Dhabi. And I came here in 2008, just before, the crash was happening in the UK and US, but it hadn't hit here. So I came here in April 2008 to work as a senior manager for Aldar in terms of research, forecasting, rents and commercial prices and things, before I moved over to Etihad as well. So I've worked for a number of companies, and my experience has been real estate forecasting, and also with the property portfolio created. I ended up creating that as a 7-figure real estate portfolio at the age of 29. So that all gave me all this impetus to really have this passion for real estate and be entrepreneurial as well. And then when I came here, then I continued to work for these top companies, Eldar in terms of real estate, and then again Etihad when commercial manager and overseeing markets and driving sales and things. But my real passion has always been to work with people, ever since as a kid.
So, how did you make the move from real estate economics forecasting to mindset coaching, hypnotherapy?
So while I was doing these corporate jobs, my mind was always forward thinking about the online space and how it's very, very important to really be a master of being online and how to sell online and create a business online as well. So I got involved in a number of ventures, Amazon selling. I used to have supplements I used to sell on Amazon when it really first started out. And I did that for a while as well. And then also I was looking into marketing agencies. I was thinking how I can really grow and develop. But my passion ever since as a kid was how to overcome your mindset, how to grow and develop. Because I, as a kid, had been bullied as a kid at school. My self-esteem was low, and I had to overcome all those things to basically be where I was, to get to where I wanted to. So I felt the fear and still did it anyway. However, it still had an impact on me. And I know that somebody had helped me to overcome all of that. And so it was really important for me to start doing that, because I used to do a lot of mindset work on myself, but my calling has always been to help others. And that was a real passion for me. And so in November 2015, I trained with Marissa Peer, who was somebody who, when I was 30, helped me overcome my low self-esteem and trauma from childhood of bullying and racism and things like that. And that really helped me. And, as I was growing up, I was always look at ways of how to improve your mind. So that was really my passion. And so then when I trained with Marissa in November 2015, and I wanted to set my own business up, I continued to work in the corporate world for another year. And then I was forecasting the fact that there was going to be redundancies. I knew that there was going to happen way before that going to happen. And then in February 2017, the redundancies happened. And I thought, okay. And it's really quite funny because I wasn't sure if we were going to have a salary cut, or we were going to be told that, we're going to be made redundant. In the run up to those 6 months at the Etihad, we were basically being told, of course, that, there may be some redundancy, we're not sure, etc. So on the day that we were called into a meeting, I wasn't sure what was going to happen. And when I saw the HR guy coming in with like all these brown envelopes, I realized that we were going to be made redundant. But the thing is that I was kind of smiling, and they noticed that because I already had set up my passion, because I'd done the training and I had something set up. And so when he was telling me that we're leaving, and they have told that story to people that, if we're made redundant, this person's gone off and done something else with their lives. So, one door shuts, but another one opens.
100%.
Okay. So when I received that, the following day, I just thought, okay, I'm going to set up my own business. However, one of the other things which is really important, and you have to learn from some of the cockiness that we can get, but, when I got really involved in my real estate, as I mentioned to you, I got to a point when I was buying real estate every year. And it got to a point one day where I actually bought a property without even looking at it. And when I did eventually look at it, it was the day that I was going to exchange the contracts. I wasn't sure it was the right property, but in the end I said, well, it's too late now and I'm sure everything will work out. That property ended up being in negative equity, and it's only now that maybe it's changed a bit, but even then it, has been a problem for me. And had I not got so cocky with buying property in the way I did, then I wouldn't have had that problem. So you always have to be very careful and mindful of how you're running your businesses.
Yeah, even if you're expert.
Experts, exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, so true. For example, I mean, I like jump to conclusions when it comes to business ideas. And when I see something that is so exciting and I want to get in, sometimes I don't look at deeper into it, read the fine print, make sure that I've done my due diligence. And this is definitely something that I've learned from it. I've been burned before. I will try and make sure that I don't get burned again. But it's a very important lesson for the listeners to make sure that you do your own due diligence. You don't just listen to someone and follow blindly like a sheep.
Yeah.
Absolutely, absolutely. The other thing that happened to me is that while I was doing this and deciding that we, might be made around, might not, a week before I just come back from Vegas and I'd become starry-eyed about Amazon selling again as well. And I thought, okay, my Amazon selling didn't work out the other way, but I'm going to work with this other guy and I'm going to pay him $20,000. I'm going to work with him and buy all this inventory. And you know how funny the banks can quite quickly give you a loan, literally in a matter of days. And I sent him the money, £20,000, the day before I found out it was made redundant. And then obviously that had implications, but equally, I'm not saying anyone should do this, but equally, I've learned a lot, because when that happened, I was made redundant. Obviously, I had 3 months pay I was going to get. That's one of the things. But, then I had to think about, okay, can I stay in my apartment? Can I not? What's the implications? And I realized in order for me to continue to work in doing Amazon selling, it was a big investment. I'd already gave him a chunk of money, and I was asked to, obviously get more inventory and things like that. And that guy wasn't going to give me the money back, unfortunately. And, I had learned a valuable lesson. So I had to basically, and I gave up my apartment, I gave up my car and everything. I moved into a family home. Luckily, my brother and my mother living in a villa, and I was able to stay with them. And I stayed in my mother's room and started building up my coaching business. And every time I used to focus on building my coaching business, I'd get clients. Every time I was trying to apply for other jobs, I wouldn't get anything. And this is somebody who would always get 1 or 2 jobs all the time. I never had a problem getting a job, never, ever. And now I had all the experience and my CV was a great CV, but I wasn't even getting interviews. So I think the universe was telling me it's time for you to shift.
100%.
We can relate.
Yes,
it
for sure.
really is like you get pushed into.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah.
And that really happened. So every time I started working my business, I'd be getting clients. Every time I didn't, nothing else would be happening. I wouldn't even get a message or response on my CV. And I'd never had that all my life. All my life, I had to only apply for 1 or 2 jobs, and I worked all the top companies. And it was quite shocking. And I thought, okay. And I remember going to this event, a JLL event actually, and there's a guy there, and he said, I was telling him what's happening. He said, well, you should really focus on your business. I said, I know. And he said, and one day you're going to come back to me and tell me how successful you are. I don't know who this guy, I can't remember his name, because I would love
to go back to him.
Just how successful I am.
Maybe he'll find you one day.
Maybe
online.
one day, I don't know.
Maybe he'll be one of your clients.
So then what I did was just basically I started from scratch. I didn't have any clients. I didn't know how to even get clients, how to get clients. There was a moment where I couldn't afford to pay for a room rental to see clients. Like I remember having a conversation with somebody in Abu Dhabi. It's going to be 1,200 dirhams a month, so you can rent the space out 4 times a month. I didn't have the money for that at that time.
Wow. Yeah.
And so I slept in my mum's room for a year while I built my business. And the other time I basically slept in the storage room there's no door, nothing, up in the attic, and had like my nephew's little bed. I slept there and continued to build my business, and also stumbled upon doing online selling for the program I trained in, and telling people about it and learning online skills. Now, get this, I was offered a Bitcoin at $1,000 at the time. I didn't have enough money for that, and I just didn't feel 100% comfortable with it. And had I bought that, I don't think I would have learned other skill sets I would have done, because I wouldn't have been forced to learn those skill sets.
Correct. Yeah. You would have just been watching it explode.
Exactly. What I would be doing is sitting at how the money's growing, but there's no skill set. And yes, it would have been great to have a Bitcoin, but I don't know. I don't feel 100% on it. But I know that I learned a lot of skills that I wouldn't have not learned had I not gone down this avenue. And there was actually somebody talking about this. I think it's even Andrew Tate was talking about this, about the Bitcoin. And like, there are some people who bought the Bitcoin, haven't got any skills. Do you know how to run a business? Do you know how to manage people? Do you know how to make money? How to learn to make money? And these are all very, very important skills. So that's that. Like when I set up my business, I had to know from scratch, right? How do I advertise? How do I do a discovery call? How do I put myself out there and speak to someone and say to them, so this is my coaching program, this is what I do, and this is X amount of money. And then how do I send a payment link? How do I then receive this money? And what do I do with this money? And I can tell you now, once you've actually done that for the first time, you feel a sense of freedom that you've never had before, because we have so focused on basically working for a job, working for someone, and that you have a salary coming in every month. I swear to you, I can tell you now that we are sheep or in a prison if we're in corporate. Of course, we can love being corporate. Of course, we can love our job titles or jobs and things like that, and we can add value, but you're not financially free. Once you
Definitely not.
know a skill and learn how to sell and get some money that somebody's willing to pay you for your service, that is ultimate freedom.
Yes.
Correct.
And the next thing is that when you've helped that person and you get feedback from them and you see them transform, I felt I died and gone to heaven.
That's fulfillment,
That's
freedom,
complete
and
fulfillment.
fulfillment.
Absolutely. And each time I did that, it just grew and grew and grew. Okay. And I live a blessed life. And 25 years ago, I used to dream about living in Dubai. I didn't even know what Dubai looked like. All I knew that it was the sun, the sea, and the sand, and that it was hot. And I wanted to be in a hot country, a sunny country. And I have died and gone to heaven because I believe that now I'm in my apartment. I live in JBR. I see the sea every day. I live in my dream place with a dream view, doing a dream job. So if I die today, I die a happy woman. And none of this I would have imagined do it by I got here. And I did it with tenacity and drive and focus. And each obstacle I just overcame, right? So it's about what you want, and you can do it. And you can't put a price on being free financially. And now this is my second six-figure business. And I've just started, I had another one with partnership with someone. Unfortunately, that partnership didn't go very well, so we ended that, but that was very successful. And now I've just launched another program because I've realized that it's not just working with people and specializing with people who suffer from anxiety and overwhelm in the corporate world or in their lives, and I give them empowerment themselves there. But as an entrepreneur, in order to be super successful, 70% of being successful in being an entrepreneur is the inner game. 70%.
Wow. Yeah.
The inner game.
70%.
I can believe it.
It's so true. I can also believe
And
it.
you always hear you've got to believe in yourself. You've got to, but what does that actually mean? So tell us what you actually do.
Okay. So I work with people at subconscious level. I've done a number of programs or trainings, and I've developed my own technique as well. I mean, I've done RTT, but I work with a holistic approach. So, I mean, obviously, I don't believe in just doing talk therapy anymore or talking, because that's not enough. Okay. There's a whole range of ways to motivate people. And by the way, I have ADHD, and I wasn't diagnosed until I self-diagnosed myself only last November. And I had an inkling that I had that. And ADHD people are meant to be successful entrepreneurs, but they may not be able to manage money and all sorts of different things. They can be messy and they can be hyper-focused. But when they're in their passion, they're in their passion. So let me just talk about the fact that what the issue is with entrepreneurs, with everyone, is ultimately people don't believe that they're enough. And let's just even talk about entrepreneurs and business people, or people want to make money. People may have money mindsets that are basically not even theirs. Okay, they be belief systems from their parents that money is the root of evil. You know, I can never make enough money, or you have a feeling of being deprived of money. So there's no abundant mindset. Also, when you're running a business, you subconsciously get triggered. Maybe I'm not good enough to run a business. I don't know how to run a business. Maybe the fact that you want to be in front of the camera and you think you don't believe you're good enough. What have I got to say? And there's a lot of imposter syndrome going on as well. So you get constantly getting triggered, because even as adults, whatever we're doing, we're going to continuously get triggered if we don't do the work, because our default setting is set from 0 to 10 years old. So whatever belief systems, whatever experiences we've had from 0 to 10 years old, that is sitting in our default setting. And 45% of the time, on a day-to-day basis, we slip back into hypnotic state. What does that mean? That means that you will see the world from that filter as a child. And so if your boss uses a different tone with you, a tone that's, you may get triggered. It could be a facial expression all the way back to your childhood, and you don't even know it.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So I work with many, many high achievers. And believe me, I work with CEOs, heads of as well, who on the outside are ball breakers, who are super successful. But on the inside, their self-esteem is like 1 or 2 out of 10.
Correct.
When you have that low self-esteem, you're not reaching your full potential.
Yeah.
Okay. And you're going to reach burnout, because the reason why you're super successful is a need and desire to be validated, whether it's in your business or whether it's in your corporate world. Okay.
And only you can do that for yourself. So it's just a hamster wheel.
Yes.
Because the more they get outside validation, the more they want.
Exactly.
And the harder they work.
Exactly.
Yeah.
To the detriment to themselves.
Yeah.
So would you say that you are basically a personal trainer for the mind?
Totally. Yeah.
Yeah.
We all need it.
Because I can't get to the gym, but a personal trainer would get me there, especially if I'm paying them.
I just recently lost 10 kilos because I had sciatica, and I had bad experiences. Every time I tried to go back to the gym to lose the weight or get fit, I regressed really badly because of my sciatica, and I had to go into hospital and have epidural injections.
Oh gosh.
But since last December, I worked with a team of people to help me slowly rehabilitate my body, so I could basically get into my body moving, and basically have subsequently lost 10 kilos.
Wow, amazing.
So the fact is that sometimes we need accountability, and sometimes we don't know how to do it, or, the support. So where you need it with your body, you need it with your mind, and business as well. And you need it with somebody and people who have been there and have done it, have done the trail, and they can coach you and accelerate. And this is how you can accelerate your progression as well. So it's so important to do. But the very first thing you need to understand is that in order to be successful, whatever you do, you have to master your inner game. And we hear about that all the time. And what does that mean? Is to believe that, clear out all the emotional baggage of your money beliefs and your self-esteem issues subconsciously, even though you try and override it with all the things you do and seek validation. But the thing is, you have to clear it. Like even the last 2 days, I've worked with people who are in the top companies in Dubai, like big brands we're talking about, massive brands, who are highly successful people who've gone into a new job, and now they're not getting the validation they want. In fact, there's sometimes toxicity of politics, and then they're getting triggered, and they think that there's something wrong with them. And so hence they feel so anxious, they feel so overwhelmed and so depressed that there's something wrong with them, when there's nothing wrong with them.
Yeah, we were watching a documentary actually about was it an NBA NFL coach who he had such anxiety. They were winning year after year after year. He was the best coach in the game, and he had one loss, and he had such anxiety that he actually stepped down because he couldn't sleep. He thought he was going to have a heart attack.
Exactly.
He stepped down
because he thought it was a failure, because he believed he had to be perfect. And you see, this mindset stuff, it could be from it is your childhood. If you felt that you had to be perfect, you can't afford to make any mistakes, that you basically, if you're not perfect, that's it. But there's a difference between being perfect and being your best. One is holding and trying to control everything. The other one is from within.
Yes.
And so what I get my people to do, or my clients to do, is to be really connected with their superpowers from within, and to be from a place of gratitude, love, and compassion, and to be laser focused and execute and live a life of flow. And I swear to you, that's the highest vibration. Overcome your 5 A's to be, what I call it, to be authentically aligned in abundance. The AAA.
I love that.
See, on our front, I'm the person that I would say doesn't live that life of flow. I always try and hold on to as much money as possible. I struggle to let it go.
Yeah.
It could be from a genetic point of view, from back when I was younger and stuff like this. But for example, Kim on the other side is the complete opposite. So she's always pushing me to live that mindset. And I think having the group has been a big eye opener for myself. that I don't have that mindset.
Mm.
You know, I'm always been the I would say 9 to 5, but I was in the hotel industry, so it's more like from the 5 to 12 at night. You know, so it was really long hours.
5
and
a.m. That
correct,
is.
correct. Yeah, I mean, I was working, I would say around 15, 16 hours a day in the hotel industry, and I thought that was all I was good at. You know, that's all I had. And your time is so important.
It's so important and so important. And the thing is that we're brainwashed to think. I think you're younger generation. I'm 53, though I think I'm 35. But I think that basically the whole generation, when I grew up, is like you have one job and that's it. But I didn't want to have that mindset, and I didn't want to believe that. And I've had many careers. And the fact is, all of them are facets of me. I've been an actress, and I grew from that. I've been an economist. I've been a real estate forecaster, investor. And I've also, now a coach, a mindset coach and hypnotherapist and transformational coach. And I've launched the other program about abundance and how to be successful in business. And I'm a business strategist. The reason why I created that, and coming back to you, is where you have that scarcity mindset. And it's the same with food or anything else, because people are emotional eaters. And I've worked with people who've had limited amount of food in their life growing up. So when they've come into money, they will basically eat as much as they can, or you go to a dinner party and they want to eat as much food because they're worried the food is going to run out.
Okay.
Interesting.
It's because it's a feeling of deprivation.
Yeah.
And that's, if money was very, very tight, then you feel I have to hold on to this money because basically money will run out. Money is energy. Money is always going to be there. And, I believe that, I believe in what Kim is saying as well. And I had that money mindset, but you also, I've had the abundance of money and money flows in, and you have to be on this high frequency. I'm all about frequency. It's very, very important. People think this is woohoo. It's not. It is quantum physics, and it's proven and it's been tested so many times, so many times. We all need to be in that frequency. And that's how I get my clients to be in that frequency of love, gratitude, compassion is the highest frequency. And in fact, authenticity is even higher. If you're in that frequency and in that flow and in a flow of abundance, you attract the right things to you anyway. One more thing though, had added to that is that yes, you do need healthy money habits, because you can say, yes, money's coming in and I'm abundant in money, but if you're always spending it and not correct and saving it, then I think that can be an issue. And I've done that myself. Okay.
Yes.
And it could be the fact that you may have ADHD and think, yes, I know creative money. I mean, my money used to be dropped around in my apartment when I was married. My ex-husband had to go and pick it up, or the maid used to pick it up. He said, listen to the amount of money you've just been dropping around all over the place, right? Okay. And that's leaking money, to be honest. Okay. So you need to have to value and respect
money. Yeah.
Respect
absolutely.
money. I do believe you have to respect money and see what it gives you, like everything else in our lives. But you do need to come from a place of abundance. And you have to have healthy. So it's a balance of having both. Having a healthy abundance mindset, because you come from a place of frequency, high frequency, and love and gratitude. And knowing that you feel good about you, that you are enough 100%, because we all are. Any person who's listening to this recording right now, or everyone on this planet, even in this moment, is 10 out of 10 self-esteem. They were born like that. They have always had 10 out of 10 self-esteem, but they're made to believe they're less than.
Yeah.
There is nothing on your planet, on this planet, you can tell me that say that I'm less than. You can have different skill sets and you may have to develop them, but we're all good enough 10 out of 10. Full stop.
I think a lot of the time when people are different to the rest of the crowd, they might believe that they're less than, but they're not seeing that that's actually their asset. They're not looking at where their asset is. I wanted to go into what you were speaking about on frequency for those who are not really familiar with this talk and this world and haven't really yet been introduced to these concepts. I will just give an example, a basic example, is that when you meet people, you either resonate with them or you don't. And how do you know that? How do you feel that? How do you feel that this is your type of person, that their energy matches yours? How do you know that? We all operate on frequency. Every single day we're operating on frequency. When you're stuck in a crowd and everybody is stressed and tense and maybe they're waiting maybe for a plane that's late, you can feel that tension in the air and it starts to affect you. It's something that we're all familiar with, but we don't like to acknowledge that it's working on a bigger scale for us. So there's that. And then also abundance mindset and scarcity mindset is something they're almost like buzzwords that I think pass over people's heads a lot these days. And I think that it's so important for people to really grasp what it means. Because once you grasp abundance mindset versus scarcity mindset, it opens up so many doors. So these are just words that actually hold so much meaning for each individual if you're able to really grasp the concept.
Let me just talk to you about frequency. Let's even put frequency aside for a second if it's too much for anyone else. If you don't believe that you're feeling good enough, right, we all get triggered. So for instance, you're doing something, a piece of work out in the office, or your boss may say something that triggers you. You may get upset, or they may not say, oh, well done. And you think, why didn't they appreciate me? Right? So you have to ask yourself, why are you getting upset? Because at the end of the day, I do believe that when you're going into an office, there is a transaction. You're getting paid for a service that you're doing, a skill set that you have. And that's it. That's all it is. You shouldn't have to be sitting there waiting for the, oh, well done. I'm really proud of you.
Correct.
Well done. That's a really great piece of work, or well done that you brought that deal in. We all get sucked into it, but we don't need to have that.
And it's not the boss's job either to do that, right? I mean, he's getting paid just as much as you're getting paid to do your job.
Exactly. Take a step back and look at your life and thinking, am I really seeking validation all the time? Whether it's from a relationship, whether it's from work, am I pleasing people more than at the detriment to myself? How much am I really taking care of myself? Or if I'm not taking care of myself, why am I not taking care of myself? Am I not important? Don't I think I'm valuable? Yes, we have this mindset beliefs. We have to take care of everyone else, but we have to take care of ourselves first in order to help others. And so just in that point, you can say, well, if I had to rate myself on the outside, I may be confident in things, but on the inside, how much do I feel I'm good enough? Do I have to believe that I'm only good enough 5 out of 10 because I haven't climbed Mount Everest, or I haven't got this amount of money in my bank account, or I haven't got this car, or I haven't got this house, or I haven't got a wife or a husband, or I haven't got kids, or I don't look like this, or etc., etc.
Concepts.
Exactly. So none of them mean anything. So if you are asking yourself, well, my self-esteem is only 4 out of 10 or 10 out, less than 10, then there's an issue. And then you have to ask yourself why. The first thing you have to do, forget about frequencies, about you saying, you know what, I do love myself, or I do believe I'm good enough. I am a 10. And when you start believing you're a 10 rather than a 5, think about what you'd feel like if you're a 10. When you're acting like a 10, what does it feel like compared to what you're feeling like right now? And that is frequency.
Embodying it.
Feeling good.
You're shifting your energy.
Yes. If you feel that you shift from a 5 to a 10, or imagine what you'll be like, you will know there's a shift in energy. That shift of energy has all the impact in your life. And I actually was just watching a video by this guy called Daniel G yesterday. He's a sales guy. He's got full of energy. And he says himself, it's like sales is energy. Basically, if you're feeling good about you and you're committed to you, people are going to pick up on that. If you haven't gone off to the gym and you're not committed, people are going to pick up on, like when you're doing a sales call, they may say, oh, I'm not sure if I want to buy this. I'm not sure about this, that, and the other, because they pick up on your vibration. They pick up on your energy.
Yes.
And they can't put their finger on it, but they feel there's something off about it.
Yes.
However, if you are committed to yourself and getting up and doing the things that you want to do, and you say to yourself, I'm going to do this and this and this for myself, you have to develop that relationship with yourself. Then your energy is going to feel good. You're just going to be so happy because you are actually developing that relationship with yourself and say, yeah, I have gone to the gym. I have had my smoothie. I've done all these things. I feel great. And so when you go meet somebody, that's going to be a different form of energy.
Yeah.
And they're going to say, wow, I want to be led by this person because they've got amazing energy.
Mm-hmm.
So it's not just they could be saying all the right words, but if you're saying a monotone, I am a coach and I can help you overcome your anxiety and your low self-esteem. If you talk like that, do you think that's going to do you think somebody's going to be enticed by that?
Yeah.
Definitely not. No.
Right? As opposed to, listen, I know where you are right now. I feel that you're amazing, but you just haven't got the right tools to help you, and I can help you get there. I've had anxiety, I've had depression, I've had low self-esteem, and I know what it takes to get there, and I can accelerate your progress and get you there way faster so you can live your best life. Which one's better?
Correct. Yeah.
And then they're also believing it. So
Absolutely.
they've taken that important step, you know?
Yes. So the other thing is that I do believe in, and one of the reasons why I have set this course is called Passive Income with Samira, I've launched, which is empowerment on money mindset and business coaching and business strategy, is the reason why I created this separate business recently is because those people that I've worked with in corporate or entrepreneurs, they're empowered now, feeling good about themselves from their life and But now I've seen people who want to get in business or want to have a side hustle or want to develop another income. And we should always do. They can't rely on just corporate or just one income. But what scares me sometimes is that they're going for big business opportunities before they've actually learned how to be in business. Not everyone wants to be an entrepreneur. Not everyone understands being an entrepreneur. And I've seen many, many people buy, no offense, trading programs and spend a lot of money on these trading programs thinking they're going to be millionaires. And they've lost a lot of money. And then they're calling me up and saying, I've lost like a lot of money and my family doesn't know. I feel like I'm going to kill myself. I don't know what to do. Can you help me? Things like that. Okay?
Anyone that promises you that they're going to make you millions, it's an utter scam and you need to run. That's what I personally learned. I've had 3 financial advisors in my life. First 2 were an absolute joke. I either lost money or broke even after years and years and years of putting my money in. Obviously, the one I have today, I've learned from it. It took me a few years to trust him, and he's doing wonders for my financial status. But I can say that a lot of people out there to just take your money, and you need to be aware of that.
Exactly. And so I remember when I started going on my entrepreneurial journey, again, in terms of online space, I watched this YouTube video and this guy said, in order to be successful in business, you have to be in business. And that really resonated with me. What he was saying is that you can't just be scrolling and just looking on the periphery of a business. You've got to get into a business so that you can really understand and get involved in it. And I totally agree with him. And it's like when I set up my coaching practice, I had to get my hands dirty, and whether I was being forced into or whether I wanted to do it, there's little stages, those little wins, those understanding of how do I get client, or how do I tell them what I do, or how do I do a discovery call, or how do I tell about my services and my program, or how do I send them a payment link, or how they actually give me money, and how do I follow through with that? All of this is something that you have to learn, have to be comfortable with and develop and grow. And then all these things, an entrepreneurial journey is not for the faint-hearted.
Definitely not.
It's not for the faint-hearted, but I would never change it because I love being an entrepreneur. It's in my DNA, but it's not for the faint-hearted. And we have ups and downs. We all have it, but we have to know how to, pivot and how to pick ourselves up and think it's not us. It's about what's happening, and not take it personally and think, okay, what do I learn from this? How can I grow from this?
Yeah.
Okay.
If you look at it really in a full-time job, you have your ups and downs as well.
Absolutely.
The only difference is you get a stable income at the end of the month.
But at what cost?
Correct. At what cost? I mean, because every year that you are staying in your stable job, yes, you have your security, but what else do you have? Where are you going? Where are you going?
And there are people out there who are mid to late 40s who, as time goes on, they're going to be put on scrap heap. And let's be honest, companies want younger people, and they are ageist. And it's very, very important. I spent 7, 8 years building on my practice and things, so that basically at 53, I know I'm free and independent. I don't have to go and work for a company. Even if I want to go back to corporate, sometimes there's interesting things, but I wouldn't want to do that anyway because I'd never be free. And now there's so many opportunities. The more you see, there's so many opportunities to grow and develop. So it's very important to dabble in this or grow and develop. But for me, why I set as a passive income with Samira is because I think that, as I said, that quote from that YouTube video I saw many years ago was so important and it was so invaluable. And I think everyone needs to go and learn how to be in business, but they have to be in it. But I also believe that you can do that with a very small capital spend to get into it and get a feel for it, learn all these skills that I just mentioned, and learn how to make money on a small scale, so that you have the confidence to then start looking at bigger picture things.
Correct, yeah.
And bigger investments. But that's why it's about financial empowerment. So why I worked on the other business Rapid Mind Redesign is because so that helped them with their life and being empowered full stop in corporate world or in their life. Then it's now about financial empowerment and to learn to grow them and give them baby steps to help them learn to be in business, but a small program. And then so that they feel confident, as you said, and he's financially confident as well, and having an abundance mindset with good money habits, but also how they feel they can be in a business and how they can learn and grow from it. And then think, okay, I know how to make money now. I know how to do this. And then say, okay, I want to invest in this almost. Then it grows. And then you're less likely to make mistakes. You're less likely to feel bad about yourself. You will overcome your inner blocks, and, master your inner game. So because 70% of being a successful entrepreneur is the inner game and 30% is execution.
And I think it's important to mention here that a lot of people will sign up to a course like this and they expect you to do everything. They expect the course to give them everything. And I think it's so important for people to realize that it's just giving you the tools. At the end of the day, you have to rely on yourself too.
Yeah, absolutely. It's not going to be suddenly I'm going to do this course and become a millionaire. And look, trust me, there are things people have done out there, just programs and things. They have been successful. But the thing is, there's steps to it. Some people can do it very quickly. Some people it takes time. But it's all okay because
Yes.
the online space isn't going anywhere. And the skill sets that you're learning are going to be there for the rest of your life. I'm 53. I'm expecting to be there for another 50 years, right? And what we're learning, the skill sets and things are accelerating so much. But you can learn this and you can get the confidence. And once you've nailed it with the community and stuff, then you can then go off and say, well, I want to buy a property or I want to do this. I want to invest money here. Then you know because you have created a skill set that you haven't known before. Because if you're so used to working in the corporate world, you haven't got a skill set.
Mm-hmm.
Correct.
You think you have, you've got a profession, but unless you want to set up your own consultancy, and even then, okay, but you've never had the confidence to do that.
Yeah. So you're talking about two things here that we also always mention, and that is getting involved and financial confidence. These are two important steps. And then also addressing the subconscious beliefs that you have.
That's number one.
Number one. Yeah. And for you, that was number one too, because you worked with Marissa Pierre before you.
Yeah, that was like 20 years ago I worked with Marissa because I was 30 when I went to see her. She lived down the road from me. I don't even know how I remember finding her, but anyway.
That is such a blessing.
Honestly. And she helped me overcome my confidence issues. I had to overcome my self-esteem issues because of the trauma I had as a kid and self-belief issues. And she was incredible for me in the sense that, of course, you can achieve anything. In the UK, everyone has a very negative or did have a very negative mindset. And she was this beautiful looking angel who was saying, of course, you can achieve this. Of course, you can achieve that. And she took me to my first Tony Robbins event as well. Thought, wow, there's somebody who talks about you can achieve anything. And at 30, that was incredible for me. Even though I was still pushing myself, overcoming my blocks, that just gave me another green light of, wow, permission to really push myself forward. You'd be surprised the number of people who are top of their game, whose self-esteem is so low because they have that mindset because of what's happened to as a kid. And they don't realize, they don't make the connection.
Yeah.
So as an entrepreneurs, it's very, very important to do the work in a game, money mindset work. I spoke to somebody the other day. He's been very successful in a lot of things he does, but he's still like just scraping by with money, and he shouldn't be. And it's because, again, it's a money mindset. And then I said to him that, okay, it's clearing out your limiting beliefs on money. It's also about you do have to give money out to get money back. So it's like giving money to charity in certain percentages. It's a mathematical formula. And then on top of that is where are the skill sets that you have in terms of business? So for instance, if you've done a project, how have you collected the money? Have you got contract? Have you been following up with getting the money back? How are you charging the money? How are you managing the money? How are the monies? It's all these other things that you have to have in place as good habits. And sometimes that's where it's fallen down as well. So there could be leaks in your money that you're saying, oh, I'm not making enough money, but you probably are, but you're not managing it properly.
Yeah.
So it's just not just mindset. It's about mindset, how to make sure you take care of your money as well. So it's about overcoming your scarcity mindset or money beliefs, or money is the root of all evil. It's bullshit because you're exchanging your energy with somebody else. And that's why you're getting paid for that. And there's nothing wrong with that. That's time and that's energy and that's experience, expertise. That is valuable. That's why you're charging the money. No one's putting a gun to somebody's head to pay that money. The people who are going to pay, they're going to pay. And the people who don't, they don't. They're going to take a slower pace experience. I've had 22 years work experience of working in terms of having a real estate portfolio. I've at least 10 years experience of working as a coach, mindset coach, and a serial entrepreneur. So I have every right to be charging some money so I can accelerate people. One of my superpowers is, because some people don't know where they should start, how they should do it, I can look at their skill set. I said, look, this is a low-hanging fruit. Start here, do this and do that, and I can accelerate them where other people wouldn't do that, right? So they say, oh, pick a niche, pick an avatar, all this kind of stuff. And it takes too long, right? Sometimes you have a skill set that you think, okay, you can be an expert in this, do this, and you can earn this amount of money by this time.
Because people want to see results. So people coming to you, they will see results a lot quicker than someone that was going to, let's say, a wealth coach that was probably going to take time with them. By the time that they're 50, they maybe will earn their first, 100,000. And
exactly.
you want to just get right into it from session one.
Absolutely. Absolutely. It's about overcoming the money mindsets. B is about saying, okay, how do I manage my money? C is what kind of business you want. And D is basically saying, okay, let's put a plan together and let's execute. And then we'll see how far or quickly are you executing? Because that in itself, right, is saying it's like going to the gym, as you said, a personal trainer for the mind. It's like, how much are you executing to deliver the results? Now, of course, when you're on like, creating something online, you obviously have to learn also how to pivot. And that's part of it. But there's a plan and you're doing it consistently every single day to say, okay, what's the feedback from people? Am I getting any traction? If I'm doing ads, because to be honest, you don't have to be doing ads right now. If you want to be on TikTok or if you want to be on Instagram, you could be posting 5 times a day and talking to the audience with a particular niche. You should be getting some traffic. I was talking to somebody who wants to work with young women, and she said, I want to do it, but I don't want to, I don't want to be on Instagram or TikTok. And even I had problems with that sometimes. But the fact is that it's not about you. If you're really passionate about helping people, more people need to know what you're doing because they're out there suffering. Like I spoke to a guy this morning, he could hardly speak to me because he was suffering from anxiety. Okay. And these people have found me because I advertise or, my SEO is great, whatever it is. But if I hadn't put myself out there, they wouldn't know where I was and how they could find me, and I can give them the help.
Yeah.
And already, like I found a girl the other day, she found me, and she was feeling imposter syndrome. She, works in a particular male dominant environment. She's beautiful and intelligent, but she's made to feel that she's dumb when she's not. And when we've done the session, you think, wow, I feel so much more different. The fact is that there are so many people suffering and they don't need to suffer. And sometimes medication is not the right answer. Sometimes some of the methodologies that are out there don't go deep enough and fast enough to clear the stuff out.
They don't get to the root.
Yeah. And so I just don't do RTT, but I do a holistic approach. We have to calm down the nervous system, the sensory body, I call it, which is a shield. We have to bring that shield down. We have to stop the overthinking, bring down that second shield, the analytical mind. And then we get to the subconscious or emotional mind, I call it. And there's the third shield. And it's calming down all three of them and rewiring the emotional subconscious mind to get to that next level.
Rewiring, because our nervous system has a pattern.
Exactly.
And that's connected to our thoughts. It's
Exactly.
connected to our subconscious beliefs. It's all connected. It's physical. And we get stuck in a loop, in a pattern. And that's what we have to break.
Yeah. So it's calming down your nervous system. It's stopping the overthinking. Those are two shields we have to bring down. And then we go back and clear out at the subconscious level and rewire and build. And each time you do that, you're elevating yourself to the next level, because until you start doing that, everyone should be doing this work, by the way,
as a practice,
full stop. Every single person on this planet.
Why?
Because our adult selves are not our true authentic selves until we've actually cleared this. Otherwise, we're a combination of learned behaviors, trauma, belief systems that are not ours.
Yes. So we've got to do the
work. That's
work.
called generational trauma.
Yes.
Right?
I think this area I need to work a lot more in. I think Kim can agree with that because it's so important. And often my mind is cluttered and, I'm disorganized. And
because you're so busy. And I think that that's so common.
Correct.
That people, they work their job, they want to do so many things. They want to start a business, they want to invest, but they're thinking, I'm so overloaded. I'm so overwhelmed. I don't have the time to do this inner work stuff. Correct. But as you said, this is 70% of it. It's so important.
Can you imagine if basically you nailed that, your life will be set? I'm working with a 16-year-old right now, and I've told him, I said, you're only 16. You learn all these skills now. You're set for life.
Correct.
I'm jealous.
We'll send you our babies 10 months.
This is it. I mean, like I work with people in the 30s, 40s, 50s. My oldest client has been 79 years old.
Oh.
Okay.
That's amazing.
Okay. And she released a lot of childhood trauma. And so her be more peaceful and happy. And her face changed from anger to just peaceful. And the thing is that, yes, most people come and go through this in their late 30s, 40s, and 50s. Okay. But if we do this in our teens, then it's like we've had the life set because we could achieve anything we want to, from like reaching our full potential 24/7 and seeing the world from those opportunities as opposed to the blocks.
Yeah. And I think that a lot of people will think, oh no, now that's competition. You know, if these teenagers are starting to get this information and get access to it, it's competition. What's going to happen to me? But I think that that's another belief system,
It's not
that there's not
competition,
enough
exactly.
for
Correct.
And the
everybody.
thing is, you've got to stop thinking that you're competing with other people.
Yes.
The only person you compete with is yourself, to be the best version of yourself every single day. And you be single focused on that, you'll accelerate like anything. And the other thing that I just want to talk about is, like Ross said, that basically you like feel disorganized, you're all over the place. Look, I've had ADHD, and there's times when I feel like that. And, you know, you need to put everything down on a sheet of paper of all the things you have to do, put into buckets, finances, business, work, and all the action lists. I call it action list, not to-do list. I hate that word to do. It's called action, because we're taking action, activating the action every day. That's why
It's not a chore.
It's not a chore.
It's empowering.
It's empowering.
Yeah.
But another thing that I've found, which has been amazing for me as well, I'm actually going to think of creating one of this for early mornings anyway, is something called focus blocks. There are a few of them around Flow Club, a few of them, and they are virtual co-working spaces so that you feel you're part of a community. I've just joined one called Focus Blocks, and I've only done it for 2 days. And the amount of work I've done in the 5-6 hours I've done it for the last 2 days is incredible.
Oh, wow.
Because what it is basically, and I didn't think it's going to work, but I thought, okay, let me try it. You book your 1 hour slot, and you basically go onto Zoom and you put your camera on. And the first 5 minutes, there's a community of people who all have something, projects they have to work on. And you breathe, and you basically make your intention what you're going to do for the next hour.
Wow.
And you
that's
do that for the
amazing.
next 50 minutes. And you come in, and then you basically go into a little breakout room, share literally 1 minute with each 3 people. And I had people from Australia, New Zealand, from the US, you know.
That is genius.
I swear to you, it's incredible, incredible. And it's just accelerated. Last 2 days accelerated my performance even more so. And now I have other ideas, because that goes really well with exercise as well. And I'm thinking of creating like that, like the 5 a.m. or 4 a.m. We're corporate individuals, because this is the other thing. You need to have a high side huddle, or you want to invest in something, but you have to be committed. Is imagine waking up at 5 a.m., doing an exercise at 5 to 6 a.m., then sitting down at a desk, being part of this flow club for like 2 hours, and working on a business for 2 hours a day before you go to work. If you're working from home, then then you start at 9 a.m. But if you're having to go to the office, then you take less. So you only just spend 2 hours. But it means you're part of a community, knowing that you're working on a business. And so that's what I'm thinking of setting up in the next month.
Fantastic. And you know,
As a group.
Dubai was voted one of the best areas for freelancers, or what do they call them? Nomads,
There
to
you
live
go.
and work. So
Perfect. They say early bird catch the worm. Now, if you wake up and you exercise, which is very important, and I would do like breath work and master my meditation and some self techniques, and then we'd go straight into our intention or what we want to do on our business, and work on for 1 hour or 2 hours as a community, and then basically give feedback, and then you can go to your work and know that you've done something for yourself before you've even gone to your job.
that's giving to yourself.
I
That's
swear
what
to
we
you.
mean
I
by-
swear to you. It's
Yep.
badass. It's
Yep.
badass. So that, Ross, you have to start doing. So
Absolutely.
He wakes up 4 a.m.
so there you go then. Okay, so there
Yeah,
you go.
I'm an early bird. It's not.
He actually has a saying, early bird catches the worm. And he used to have YouTube videos where he had a little worm hanging from his mouth, like what he said.
So there you go.
So will you be mixing that with the gym session in the morning?
Yes.
Okay, so you don't need a personal trainer to keep you motivated, right? You just need this session. I mean, it's a 2-in-1.
Yeah, I
Gets
mean, I
you
think
in the gym and gets you.
say, hey, listen, we're going to the gym. Who's going to the gym? Let's do it. And just be accountable. It's all about accountability.
Correct.
And so I thought that was really good, because I've done this for the last 2 days. It's been phenomenal. And I'll see if I can do that, but we can plan that. But as I said, setting up the second business called Passive Income with Samira is about what I've come across is, as I said, to be successful in business, you have to be in business. And one of the things I found, and I've always looked at the trends, is a business that's called private label info products. But not only that, one of the key things that everyone needs to understand is digital marketing. Okay, whether you're in a corporate job or not, we need to understand digital marketing, because we need to brand ourselves, and we need to know how to do that, and to create digital products for ourselves that we can see selling for ourselves, and learning how to make money on that very quickly. Okay, and there's a product that I invested in, which is only like $4.97, which means that you can actually learn from beginners about digital marketing, but also how to learn to create products, but also have that product and able to sell that, resell that to people and make money from it. That helps you, A, learn a digital skill set that you can actually know for yourself or for other people. B, is how to make products to sell. And 3, how to sell the program itself. Many people have created programs and they sell it, okay? And people do the program, but that's it. You can't resell that. Now here, you have the opportunity to A, learn the skill set, create products for yourself, and resell the program. There's like 3 ways to generate income: from the skill set, from creation of products, and from reselling the program. And what I'm actually decided to do on top of that as add value is work on the mindset so that you have abundant mindset, overcoming your limiting beliefs mindset, and providing business coaching to accelerate it. And that'll be free on top. Okay. And that way you are learning these skills and dipping your toe in the water on how to sell and create and make money from a different space. Okay. To do that. And then once you've generated some income and go in flow of it, then you can start looking at other business ideas.
So there's no excuse.
There's no excuse. I swear to you, there is no freaking excuse.
Yeah.
Because all these programs, if you look at affiliate marketing, which I do believe is another way, but the fact is the programs are really expensive, and sometimes you're not getting the support as help as much. Or even if you do, some people don't have the money of $2,500 or $3,000, whatever. But this is so much more cheaper. And then once you've known this and you know master resale rights or PLR, think, wow, I can do this. Your mind just opens up.
Yeah.
And it's like dipping your toe in and learning. So if I said to you, if you want to learn this for the next 3 months, can you imagine where you'd be beginning of the year?
You'd be transformed.
So this is what I call financial empowerment. So that is what I'm now focused on doing. And I've got some clients. I haven't really marketed it right now because I'm just about launching it. And already the people who've bought it started feeling so empowered. Think, wow. As I said, my skill set is superpower is to understand somebody's got experience in something and use that as a low-hanging fruit so they can be an expert in that and use the program to create just products for that. At the same time, they can sell it, but have skill sets like how to create their own funnel, how to, all these things that you know. But I've spent thousands, like I've spent $500,000 on different training programs over the years. Okay.
Wow.
And I've invested in a lot of products and businesses like Amazon, obviously real estate and things like that. Some have worked out, some haven't. But what I'm saying is not everyone's like that. Not everyone's a risk taker. And people in the corporate world trying to figure out what shall I do. And what scares me is when people start investing in things like trading programs, which unless you're a trader, and I work with traders, by the way, and even then they have to learn how to like walk away from a deal. Okay. But I go really in detail with the traders. But these are guys who have been experienced traders or own hedge funds and things like that. The everyday person, it makes me nervous because there's a very steep learning curve on that. And returns is not necessarily going to be fast.
And it's not your skill
And it's no
set.
guarantee. Look, some people may have made money on it, but the fact is a lot of people don't. And they get emotional and they're in debt. They don't have that skill set. So something like this is a good starting point.
Yeah.
And once you generate some money, okay, and some women have already posted like making thousands of pounds from it very quickly. And maybe you can. But I don't want to be saying, oh, yes, you can make $1 million in 4 months. Some people have done, but they probably have a network and things. There's lots of skills you have to learn along the way, but those skills were going to be there with you for life.
At the end of the day, stock market is very volatile.
Exactly.
And I myself, I used to only invest in the stock market.
Yeah.
And I'm sure a lot of the listeners out there will believe that stock market is the only way to make money, but it's not.
There's not.
So many ways
exactly
to make money. So many platforms out there that are really good, that give you great returns, safe returns. And at the end of the day, stock market is not the only way out.
Absolutely. And it scares me as an economist, good or bad. I haven't invested a lot in stocks because I know people who invested a lot of money in stocks thinking that all those stocks were really, really good and they lost their money and that was it.
Yeah.
Okay. I know people like that as well. So you really need to know what you're doing. That's why I invested in real estate because you can't go wrong. Yes, property prices have dropped and whatever it is, but it's always going to go up. There's always going to be a demand and supply if you buy in the right places. Okay. It's just something that's tangible, but not everyone can go and buy a property right now. You need to have other things, how you can learn how to make money and develop a business and make money and then build from there. But you have to learn, as I said, you have to be in business to be successful in business. Yeah. So this is a way of being and dabbling, not just dabbling, but really being committed into this and learning this and learning skills and understanding what my money blocks are. What is my mindset? What is my belief systems of being in front of the camera? Or can I be in front of the camera? I'm working with an 18-year-old who's making 30 grand a month. I've seen like 16-year-olds who are making $500,000.
Amazing.
Wow.
But the thing is, they put their mind to it and they're doing things. And there's so much like overload with so many things. But I think this one way is a fantastic way because, as I said, we all need to know digital marketing. right? We all need to have a skill set that we can use. How to brand ourselves at the very least. Number two, how to create little products that we can actually sell, ebooks, recordings, whatever it is. So you learn how to do that. There are people selling like $89 programs and making $5,000 a month.
That's amazing.
Exactly.
And then you have people on the other side that are like sheep with their heads down, focused on only getting to work, getting the job done, getting home so they can sleep to get back up to do work again. You need to take what you have in terms of skills and make it work for you.
Absolutely. Absolutely. That's it. You're in your cubicles and you're just basically, okay, I need to do this email. And we become brainwashed to do that.
Yeah.
We're prisoned. And that we basically need to break out from. And there's more and more people need to break out from that because no job is for life. You know that.
Correct.
So my inner compass and intuition is really strong. And ever since school, I've been one of those rebels who's kind of like going against the system. Something didn't feel right. And then going into like a regular college, which is for some people, if you want to become like a doctor or a lawyer, but for me, no, didn't feel right. And nowadays, I do have a set of skills.
Yeah.
I had health challenges. I had to research for years and years in order to empower myself to heal myself. That's how I learned that it all came from within. No doctor could heal me, no treatment could heal me, no facility could heal me. I had to heal myself, and I figured out a way to do that. But when you say take that skill set and monetize on it, something happens within me. And I say that I have an abundance mindset, and I do feel in flow with money, and it makes me happy when I think about money. I have positive connotations. But when you say monetize on yourself and your skill set, I feel like I'm a fraud.
Yeah, everyone has imposter syndrome. I have a girl who I saw yesterday. She's stunning and super intelligent, works in the tech field, and she's the only girl in this particular company, and she thinks that she's a fraud or an imposter. And she's done so much work. And she realized that she was constantly getting triggered of not being good enough because she thought she was too pretty when she's actually super intelligent as well. And I said, well, look at Cindy Crawford. She was a chemical engineer and she was good looking. Yes, God's given you both great gifts. So be happy with it and own it, because you wouldn't be there. They wouldn't have hired you and kept you there and running these projects if they didn't think you were good enough. Right?
Correct.
Okay. So you have to start believing yourself and not get triggered. And the fact is that everyone goes to this building. What have I got to offer? I'm not good enough. We get all these triggers, but you'll be surprised what you have. And when you start talking about your passion, or what you start talking about expertise, you have it all there. And somebody's out there who needs your expertise, whatever it is. They're looking for it. There's 8,000 billion people on the planet. You're telling me that your expertise isn't going to be valid to somebody else? Of course it's going to be.
Yeah.
Of course it's going to be. And so this is it. Whether it's your journey, your experience, your story, or, it's your expertise in something.
And this is something also, for example, in our group, whenever someone makes a post, I feel I need to reply with saying, first of all, congratulations, well done for what you have created. At the end of the day, people are just so focused on what can I get for myself, and they're not really focused on that person did a good job. Tell them they've done a good job, because it will motivate them. It'll drive them to keep on doing a better job.
If you're constantly going to cover an individual mindset, of course you have to take care of yourself. However, if you're all out for just for yourself and not from a place of abundance, you're going to be really not as successful as other people are. Success breeds success. Many times I've actually referred clients to my colleagues. I don't have to. They're my clients. I've acquired them. I run ads and things like that, or do things or get referrals. But it's from a place of abundance. You have to think about what's right for that client.
Correct.
And if this other person is going to benefit from one of my colleagues' services, they're going to do that. I'm not going to just hold on to. If you're trying to hold on to everything, then you're not coming from a place of abundance. You come from a place of scarcity.
Correct.
And then your energy just doesn't flow. Your life is going to be feeling like you're always pushing. There's always angst. There's no flow. There's no good karma coming back to you.
Because what I see today, I've been in the hospitality industry for so long, and I've hired so many people, and especially when I start hiring the younger generation, especially these days, you say that you're hiring someone that's a 20-year-old, 21-year-old. Nowadays, I would say 90% of these hires, they last maybe 6 months at most, because it's such I don't care about the company I'm working for. I don't care about anyone around me. I'm going to come in, I'm going to get what I need, and I'm going to get out. Yeah. And I feel that this is like the younger generation coming up, and this is what their focus is. It's all about instant gratification. It's all about benefiting for themselves, not caring about the people around them. What is your message for those people?
So, like I did say, when you come into work, there's a transaction where you are doing the job and you don't need to feel appreciated. However, there's a level of appreciation, there's a level of common decency, kindness, support, camaraderie. I think sometimes companies go a bit OTT with we're a family, blah, 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 and then they'll basically cut you when they need to, redundancies. However, I do think that you need to come from a place of good energy, knowing that where the company is, that you are being, there's a transaction, you're being paid a salary and you're asked to do a job. And you want to do the job well, right? I'm assuming you would want to. And that is part of also being, success breeds success. There's people in his team coming in together. So if F&B, I'm assuming that that's what also happens. You have to create that energy and vibrancy together as camaraderie. And it's connection. And to be honest, it's building relationships. And again, I was watching this guy thing about sales. It's about building relationships. And I've noticed that in my own life. I love building relationships and connections and, and building that trust and credibility, because I love humans. Other people love pets. I love humans because I want people to do well and I want people to succeed. And I don't believe people need to suffer. And I want people to see the world from a place of opportunity and abundance. And so I think you come from a place of that mindset. And when kids come in like that, it's because they've been told that that's the way to do it. And again, it's from a place of scarcity and not feeling good about themselves. So my message to them would be, it's about feeling good from the inside out and coming and creating that energy and vibrancy to grow and be successful, be the best team ever. It's not just you by yourself, but as a group. It makes a great place to work as well then.
It's a great idea to have something like this internal in a company,
Yes, absolutely.
That can deal with self-esteem, because everyone has self-esteem issues.
Totally. And nobody will believe it, say it, admit it, but they do. Everyone does.
I wish I could sit here and say that I have no self-esteem issues. That would be an utter lie.
But everybody has beliefs, and some are good beliefs about yourself and some are bad. It's just how it works.
No one's ever said to me that I believe that I'm good enough 10 out of 10, that I love myself, feel good. And when people do think that, they start thinking, do you think I might be a narcissist? I said, no. If you're a narcissist, you won't be coming to see me anyway for a start.
Yeah.
Okay.
Correct.
And a narcissist thinks, yeah, I'm so amazing, but they go the other way. It's like, I'm so amazing. I don't ever make any mistakes. I'm perfect.
Overcompensation.
Yes.
And that's a cover up for the limiting beliefs.
Exactly.
It's a protective mechanism.
Exactly.
So narcissism is not overconfidence. It's not extreme self-belief. It's actually the opposite, which is very sad. I wanted to ask you a question about money shaming and people who accuse those who are money driven of being greedy. You do get greed, but you also get healthy ambition.
Yes.
And I've experienced this myself, and I know Ross has also experienced it. When you start to show interest in making money and you are dedicated to it, sometimes you have people coming to you and saying, shame on you for being greedy. Shame on you for loving money. Let's say if somebody says, I love money, some people I think have the mindset that this is superficial, materialistic. But at the end of the day, as you said, money is energy.
Money is energy. And basically we should love money. Money is beautiful. Money gives you freedom, is support. If you say that shame on you and money is greed, depends on you doing it. We're not talking about Wall Street. We're not talking about the stockbroker guy from Wall Street. Okay. Money is good because it gives you freedom. And if you're providing a service, there's an energy exchange of that service. Nobody has to take that service. Those people who feel that it's a value for them to take that service because it accelerates their progress, they take it. If the people don't want to take it, that's fine too. But they shouldn't be money shaming, because the thing is that we do need to learn how to make more money. We need to learn skill sets. For instance, if I was seeing clients, but I just want to make money, it will never work.
Yeah.
Because money is a byproduct of my service to clients and making them transform or helping them transform. The byproduct is the money coming in, okay, of my energy exchange and my expertise, experience, okay? And so based on what my experience, I can charge what I want. right? And if people want to feel that they're going to get a really value for money and acceleration, then they're going to pay that money. And
Yeah.
so it's about that. And so people who say that to you is because they have issues with money themselves.
I think for me, it was also people seeing in me that I was not valuing myself or
Yeah.
knowing my value. So it's a control mechanism
Yeah.
saying, don't ask too much from me
Yeah.
because I still want to use you.
Yeah.
Do you know what I
Exactly.
mean?
Well, there you
I
go.
wasn't valuing myself.
Yes.
I was
So
doing
they're
things for
manipulating
people.
you.
Exactly. Yes.
Because the thing is that people, this is very, very important why self-esteem and 10 out of 10 self-esteem is so important. Whether you're in corporate, whether you're in business, people can see the cracks. You think that you're hiding and masking it, but people can take advantage of that and they can pick up on that. And I have worked with top people, banks and all sorts of companies where they're being bullied by a boss. And then I've worked with them even in one session where the energy shifted. They haven't said anything, but the energy shifted and their boss has picked up on something different about them. And they've started talking to them or speaking to them in a different way. Literally a day later.
Amazing.
So you have to be very, very careful and be mindful of your self-esteem and really make sure there is a 10 and work on yourself, right? To do that, because people can pick up on that. And when you start speaking up and start realizing your self-esteem is a 10 and you start picking up and you're thinking, why are you behaving that way? Why are you changing? Because they like you to a certain way. And suddenly you're changing. They don't like that because they don't want to change. They'd rather pull you down.
Yeah.
I was making the analogy yesterday with a bucket of crabs. There's a bucket of crabs, they're all alive, and one's trying to get out at the side because it doesn't want to be there in the bucket. It wants to get out of the bucket. However, the others pull him down because they say, you can't get out because we're here, so you're going to stay here.
Yeah. Yeah.
And you know tall poppy syndrome, when people are doing successful in Australia and they basically, other people will pull them down because it's easier for them to pull other people down as opposed to everyone grow.
So when you start to evolve, you will come across losing people, relationships falling apart.
Absolutely.
It's a part of the process.
Absolutely. Even when you're doing weight loss. I remember when I was doing weight loss and, I was losing weight and thinking, why are you losing too much weight? All these things. I had a friend who even phoned my mother up and said to her, I'm really worried about Samira because she's losing too much weight and I'm worried. And I wasn't anorexic. I was following the right way. And I was having it at weekly sessions with a doctor and monitoring everything.
So that
jealousy.
Well, it exposes people's own limiting beliefs.
People get triggered.
Yes.
When you're doing well or when you're growing, people don't like it who are around you. They don't know how to deal with it. And rather than actually saying, hey, I want to do the same and I want to grow and develop, they will say something to pull you down because it's easier for them because they're getting triggered. You see, in our mind, when we go and try and do something different, our mind's saying, oh, you don't need to go to the gym, let's stay on the couch, because your mind is trying to keep you safe. It thinks that your comfort zone is a safety zone. But we know that we need to get out of the couch, right? So your mind keeps trying to push you back, but you have to overcome that. It's the same thing as your group. If that group is like feeling comfortable the way you are, misery loves company, right? And so if you're in a group of people who are just miserable, not happy, and constantly being negative and bitchy, gossiping and things like that, and you trying to change, they won't like it because that means that what does it say about them? So it's easier for them to put you down rather than all of you collectively grow and develop. And that's why it's so important to be around 5 people who are better than you, because you otherwise get dragged down.
That's why they say you should hire people that are better than you.
Yeah, totally.
At the things that you're bad at, right?
Yeah, absolutely. 1,000%.
Yeah. I want to ask you, do you have any stories of amazing results that you've seen in a particular client that blew your mind?
Well, I mean, I have amazing stories all the time. A girl of mine about 4 years ago, she was living in Iran and she wanted to come and see me. She was talking about whether she's going to come and see me and she was flying to Dubai. She couldn't even get onto a plane. Okay, she was so fearful. We did even one session and she got onto the plane and then we worked together. And that girl transformed completely. She was somebody who was so fearful. She didn't even know how to go to a beauty salon, take care of herself. She was overweight, all these things. She didn't know how to run the family business, anything. Now she's a badass. 4 years on, she's running her family business with her brother. She takes care of herself. She sends me messages of a stylist and all these things she does, takes care of herself. She feels confident. She deals with people in scenarios. Completely different person.
That's beautiful. Yeah. That's really, truly beautiful,
She couldn't even get onto a flight from Iran to Dubai that day. And I had to do a session online and get her onto a flight. And then after that, we worked together and it's just been incredible.
And I can relate because when I was chronically ill, I had crippling fear. And now I have a baby. I'm enjoying life. I'm
Yes.
seeing the joy in life.
Yeah,
And
your story, absolutely.
it's truly,
Yeah.
it's a story that cannot be expressed because there's so many little details along the way on the journey
Yeah.
that are so profound and transformational that you can never really express it to somebody. But I think it's important to mention that for the listeners so that they know that they too can begin wherever they're beginning from,
Yeah.
a journey of evolution for themselves and continue to evolve and expand and find more and more joys in life, find more passions, and find more love for themselves.
Honestly, it's accessing your superpower, which is reconnection with yourself.
Yes,
Of feeling good
connection.
and correct. See, I see the 5 A's. The 5 A's are you would have childhood abuse. It could be a small trauma or belief systems, okay? Results in anxiety and ADHD. Okay, ADHD doesn't have to be genetic. It can be actually because there's things that you've seen in your life your mind can't take anymore and it learns to distract itself. That's where the overthinking starts happening as well. But the anxiety happens in your body, but then results in addiction. So it could be emotional eating, it could be alcohol, it could be cigarettes, it could be retail shopping, it could be porn, whatever it is. And then ultimately it then leads into physical manifestation. So it could be IBS, it could be autoimmune diseases, it's all sorts of things. So in order to clear all of this, you have to go back and to really get to the root cause and to do a whole system thing, like on the subconscious, political mind, on a physical body as well, to get to that AAA effect of being authentically aligned in abundance, what I call it.
And I experienced that firsthand. It's real. It's completely real. It's completely true. And it's so important. I can't stress
If you
that
want to be
enough.
successful in life, that is what you have to do. We all have to do it.
Yes. And success in terms of contentment, happiness, self-love, love for the world around you, love for life.
And it's the ultimate freedom because you're not beholden to anyone or anything.
Mm-hmm.
It's the connection with yourself, knowing that you can take care of you and love you and feel good about you, whatever what's happened in your childhood. Okay.
Yeah.
And then you can take care of yourself, the adult self taking care of the little version of you and feeling whole and connected. And you are so solid that you can achieve anything.
Yeah.
It's basically stop feeling sorry for yourself and stop saying it's because of this, it's because of this, it's because
Yeah.
of that, and get something done.
Start
Do it.
empowering yourself and putting it into practice in your daily life. The way you function in the world has to change.
And Samira is real. So if you guys want to get in touch,
Need external help. You
Yes.
can't just do it all on your own. This is something that I have also realized is taking those expertise from people who know how to do it, how to give you a roadmap. So for those who want to get in contact with Samira, how do they do it?
And they can DM you guys and then be in touch.
Yeah.
And then we can do it that way. Or they can go to my website, Rapid Mind Redesign, Samira Alexander. If you Google me, you'll find me. I actually won the award Hypnotherapist of the Year,
Yes.
2023, 24.
Congratulations.
That's my fourth one.
Yeah.
so we have our first award winner
Yes.
on our podcast.
Fourth award.
Incredible.
So,
Absolutely
and they can come to Rapid Mind Redesign, to my website. They can check me out, or they can book a call. But I think the quickest, fastest way is like to DM you guys if they
Yeah.
want any more questions, and I can always answer the questions
Yes.
and take it from there.
And if you're contacting Samira directly, be sure to let her know that you're coming from us, UAE GYF. Use that code as usual so that she can pay special attention to you. She knows you're coming from our community, you're coming from our podcast, you're coming from our Facebook group, etc.
You get 10% discount.
Oh, 10%
Amazing.
discount. Great.
It's the first time we heard of that. So that's fantastic.
Thank you.
Very, very, very amazing.
Nobody is perfect. And even some of the most successful CEOs have limiting beliefs. What is your message to them? Yeah.
So what got you here is not going to get you to the next level. So whatever strategy you've had, survival skill sets you've had to get to where you are, it's been great. But now it's not serving you. Your perfectionism, your control is creating anxiety, overthinking, you're getting triggered because that's what's happening. And you may not realize it as much, but it is happening. And so in order to get to that next level of real abundance and to really achieve the most you want in your life, but from a place of really being happy, you need to do the work.
Fantastic.
Amazing. What a way to end.
I would love to keep you here all day and just pick at your brain.
All,
and
all
keep
month, all
talking.
year.
Yeah, maybe we'll have you
Samira in
another
our
time.
closet and just
And also about your course, when is it releasing?
So, I mean, it's released, but I think that I'll be doing like more of a big launch maybe in a couple of weeks. But, people, again, they can message you and then we can talk about it. And I can tell you, we can do a Zoom call, a Zoom webinar thing and have more detail about that if people are interested and they want to talk about it. And
So this episode will be out by the time you've done a big launch. So people can, I'm sure they'll know about it by then if they know about you.
So get in touch with us or get in touch directly with Samira. Change your life today, because at the end of the day, it doesn't matter what happened in your childhood, because what you're feeling at the present moment is what you're feeling at the present moment.
And ironically, a lot of people say, oh, nothing's happened in my childhood. I had a great childhood. But there's something there that's triggered them. Okay. Even if your parents have been perfect, your school was perfect, there's something there. So what's so important is redesign your mind, redesign your life.
Beautiful. Thank you so much.
My pleasure. Thank you very much for having me.
We will see you again.
Definitely.
Yes, definitely. Inshallah.
Wow, what a powerful episode. Now we are both ready to take on the world, and I'm sure you guys are as well. So if you would like to have a session with the award-winning Samira, please either contact us and we can put you in touch, or if you would like to contact her personally, please do so. Just use the code UAE GYF in order for her to know that you're coming from the podcast or our group, and she'll take extra special attention on you, as well as give you a cheeky little 10% discount.
We look so forward to hearing more from Samira in the future. And this episode has just been eye-opening, delightful, and inspirational. That word is overused, but it really has been inspirational for me personally. Anyway, I can only speak for myself, but I'm inspired. Are you, Ross?
I am indeed. And on that note, guys, do not forget how important it is to value yourself and pay yourself first, because you are worth it.